Oh yeah, that's my crowd. I love them. I carry them everywhere. Yeah, I have an applause loop. You know, come out of the grocery store. Yeah! That's what happens when you're retired. Welcome to the Scott Miller Show. I appreciate you watching. I usually say listening, but this is a new thing for me. So this is all set up like a radio show, basically, because I don't know how to do anything else. And that's okay, because it's my YouTube channel, so this is the way it's going to be. On today's show, I'm going to talk a little bit about retirement, specifically my experiences, my observations, and hopefully that'll help you manage your expectations as you move into this realm, this great thing we call retirement. So I hooked you with three things I wish I knew. And so number one would be this concept here. So your whole entire working life, I'm sure, at some point you've heard somebody talking about retirement. I'm 5 years away from retirement. I'm 10 years away. I'm 3 minutes away. All I know is that my whole life work experience, you always had this thing up here, right? Retirement. Oh, and everybody's trying to get there. And there are some parts of it that are knocked out of the park. I'm not going to argue with you. Having breakfast at 9:30 because that's what you feel like doing, it's all ace. So it's not all gloom and doom. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to burst your bubble on a few things because everything that you thought that you wanted to do without, in some way you're going to have to replace. And this is how it goes. So I took the first 8 months when I turned 62. And I worked on the property. I worked in the woods. I painted. I did organizing. I did a lot of stuff. And after about 6 months, I started to feel a little weird, right? I feel a little unsettled. Just not quite sure why I don't just feel just right. And I think it's important to be able to self-reflect and to be able to find out why you're feeling the way you're feeling, right? Like, why do I feel this way? Is that too hot? All right. So when I was growing up, as I'm sure you did too, there's a lot of angry old men running around, right? Get off my lawn, you son of a, they're really cranky. And I think those are the guys that don't don't self-examine as to why they're angry and then, or mad or pissed, and reconcile that, read, go to counseling, find out more, find out why you're feeling this way. Because it's not just you. That's the whole thing, man. It's all of us. You're not special to feel this way. Nobody's chosen you out and said, "Oh, you're the guy we're going to put." No, it's everybody. It's everybody. Trust me on this one. So what I found was that all the things here's what I think. What I found is that I didn't miss work per se, but I miss all the things associated with a work lifestyle. Does that make sense? Like, we've been doing this so long, and all these things are ingrained in our psyche, our conscious, our subconscious. This is how we are humans, is to take a shower, get breakfast, whatever, go to work, produce something, get a paycheck, pay your bills, and justify your existence, right? In some way, shape, or form. So, there's no time card. There's no expectations. Nobody's expecting you to be anywhere. Nobody's depending on you to open up the store, have the keys to the warehouse. There's no productivity. You're not making anything. You're not producing anything where you can stand back at the end of the day and go, "Hey, look at that. Yeah, I painted that wall." And also there's no camaraderie, right? So sometimes there's people at work, as annoying as they are, there's still people at work and they're part of your being. So you can know that anybody that you ever worked with doesn't give a rat's behind about what you're doing this morning. And in the beginning, it seems like nirvana. But after a while, you start to miss all these things that you used to hate. So it's not necessarily, like I said, the work that you miss, but it's all the things associated with a working lifestyle. So you got to find a way to replace those things, right? So it's going to be subjective to the nth degree, because it's going to be different for everybody. What I miss, what I'm lacking, what I feel I'm lacking in my life, going to be different than yours. But I'm sure there'll be some similarities. And so look at areas of volunteering in your community. If you love animals, volunteer at the animal sanctuary. Certainly hanging around, walking dogs all day is a lot better than hanging out with people. And you'll feel good about yourself when you go home. You get more involved in your church community. There's a lot of different ways to put yourself out there, because sitting on your butt in your chair being retired and feeling these feelings is not going to change until you are proactive and go out and actually do something. So you may decide to go back to work part-time. There may be a lot of things you decide to do, and none of them are wrong. And don't be afraid to try, because sometimes it does take trial and error. Hey, I went and did this for 4 months, and yeah, it's not working for me. Oh, try something else. America, big place. Lots of clubs, lots of groups, lots of subjects, lots of things to get involved in. On closing that part of it, I would say that some of my disappointment, I talked to my counselor about, was, the bill of goods that I was sold when I went in the military, and what the rainbow is now for me, right? So I watched a lot of people when I was younger retire. They kicked up their heels and they went fishing. Like that was it. Now we got meth heads running around, and I got to have driveway alarms, and I got to have weapons in the house, which you would always have anyway, but you know what I'm saying? You have to be more conscious of that. You got to be conscious when you go to the mini mart. Who's in that car? Who's in this car? Who's following you in? Who's over there? You got to have your head on a swivel because everybody's looking to slam, jam, or scam, or do something. And that wasn't my expectation. I thought I could turn the military police thing off and go kick up my heels and go relax and enjoy myself. And that was part of my angst, or part of my problem with it, because I didn't know what it was. I was pissed. I just didn't know why. And you look back and you're like, oh, yeah, that's why. You promised me this. You gave me that. It's two different things. So there's an adjustment that you're going to have to go through before you realize the things that you were told or promised or envisioned and the reality that's, life in America in 2025. So that was number one. Number two, second thing I wish I knew before I retired. I might have prevented a little. Oh, man. I don't know anybody who likes to be condescended to. There's not, even children don't like it. When you start talking down to intelligent children, even they get pissed. And so no different for me or you, I would imagine. Nobody likes to be talked down to. But get ready, because they're going to do it. When you're retired, you have a little more time for media, a little more time for the internet, which is all well and good, but it will become evident to you quite soon that the marketers don't care about you anymore, and you're over 65-ish. They do if they're talking about Medicare Advantage plans, if they're talking about underwear you can pee in, if they're talking about phones with huge numbers, then you're their guy. But other than that, all the fun stuff seems to be for other people. It gets you in. It comes on like in waves. Like it doesn't just hit you like, an epiphany. You'll get one day, or maybe you'll have one watching this video go, I know what he's talking about. But I'm a radio guy. I've been writing radio ads for years, and so I pay a lot of attention to radio. And I don't know if it was Walgreens or somebody, one of the big chains had an ad on the radio, and it went like this. If you know someone 65 or older, it's time to get them their flu shot. And I thought, what am I, a pet? You think I need somebody to come to my house and help me understand what a flu shot is and hobble me out the door to get there? I mean, it's so rude. And not only that, what really irks me is that it puts it out there, right? Like to the public that, oh, this is what you should think about people who are over 65. I mean, it's ridiculous. At 6'6", ex-military, I'm in good shape, man. Like, I don't need help. In that way, and I despise that marketing thing to make you think that, hey, my buddy's 65, I better go over and tell him about his flu shot, because he's dumb and doesn't know better, and he's like a pet, and he needs me to go over there and make an appointment for him at the vet so he can get his shot. So the marketing thing can get on your nerves a little bit. The other thing is going into public. Young people, if you're over 65, excuse me, you're invisible. They don't even see you, man. They're on this thing, and you're just like a ship in the night, man. You're not even there. I do find that there are quite a few young, intelligent folks who are working with the public, who make eye contact, know how to do small talk, know how to smile, and those are the places I gravitate to. Because when I go somewhere and I wish somebody a good morning, and this is what I get, can I take your order? Like, they're missing the greeting of the day. They're missing the joy out of life, whatever it is. But I don't want to interact with those folks. So I gravitate. Listen, corporations, we're all the same. We're going to gravitate to places where you have paid people a good wage and train them to engage the customer as if their money is worth something to you. And that's the only power that we have. So, that's number two. I just find that it's difficult sometimes to get what you want out of a trip to town, right? So if you spend your time alone or you're mostly solitary and you do go into town, those are some of the things I'm looking for. Hi, Jeannie. How's the baby? A little personal interaction, a little human contact. And so I'll gravitate to the places where I can get that. All right, number 3, and finally, because I'm boring you to death, I'm sure. Number 3 would be the Medicare nightmare. And what I mean by that is when you turn 65, if you have a wood stove, you will be able to keep warm for a month with the amount of crap that comes in your mailbox. And I mean reams. Everybody knows, all the algorithms have figured out that Scott Miller's turned 65. And every single Medicaid Advantage plan, hearing aids, scam warnings about my warranty is about to expire. And Chicken Little says the sky is falling, so I have to send them $400. Some of the scams are so ridiculous, but mostly it's the Medicare Advantage plan paperwork. And if you're healthy and and it's not a focal point, right? So I thought back on it, and that's why I decided to make this a subject of this video, is because there's a couple things I wish I would have known. Number one is whether you are on prescription medication or not, the moment you can at age 65, sign up for the Medicaid Advantage plan and also the prescription plan. I passed it off because I'm not interested. I don't take prescription medication. I don't take over-the-counter medication. I'm physically active. I do my exercises. I stay in good shape. And so it's kind of like, and also I think there's a little subliminal, like, I ain't that old yet kind of thing. You just don't want to pay attention to it because it's too real. The numbers are, well, I'm going to do the math. Yeah, I'm 65. It's not a lot of fun. So I think there's part of that shut my brain off from wanting to know anything more about it. But, so here's the thing. So about 8 months later, after I turned 65, I signed up for a Medicaid Advantage plan. And then I signed up for a prescription plan. And then I found out that I was getting penalized $2 a month because I had waited the 8 months to sign up. So every month that you're not signed up for a prescription plan, you're going to get penalized. And it's not a one-time thing. It's for life, right? So I was lucky I got mine in 8 months later. And so I think my penalty is like $2, something like that. But it's for life. Okay, it doesn't end. It's so that would be one thing I wish I knew, was that it doesn't matter whether you need the prescription plan or not. The requirement is there. Otherwise, you're going to suffer a penalty. So if you let it go 2 or 3 years before you sign up, the penalty could be $15 a month for the rest of your life. So you don't want to mess with that. And also, getting on the hook early is important. Making sure that you dot all your I's, cross all your T's when you turn 65. Have a couple of drinks or something and sit down and try and cipher out through all that paperwork. And I guess they do the Medicare Advantage plans through agencies. Like, you can't get it directly from Medicare. Somebody has to be qualified insurance salesperson. And so have somebody sit down and explain it to you. Make an appointment, go sit face to face, bring a list of the things that are important to you in your particular situation, and make sure that you got those things covered, right? So for me, it was like, I don't want to get hit with a big bill. So there was an Advantage plan there where the max that they can charge me for the year is like $3,000. So I don't care if I had a heart attack, I have a coronary, I have an aneurysm. It doesn't matter what I have. The only thing they can charge me is $3,000. I figure, hey, I can handle that. So that was what was important to me. The rest of the riffraff is, a little bit of grocery money if you are chronically ill, a little bit of this, a little bit of something else. That was all kind of not really important to me. But I have to say that I messed up by not doing it right off the bat and giving it its due, which I should have done. So there's a warning. Don't take it lightly. Do your education, do your book work. The only disappointment with doing all that work is they change it every year. Yeah, they're going to send you a thing in the mail, and some things will be added. Don't look for a Christmas present from the insurance company, right? They're not built for that. They're built to take your money and give you the least amount possible in return for goods or services. So knowing that going in, don't think that the first of the year when you get this revision that it's going to be Christmas. And they're probably taking away something or changing something, but it's something that you should know so you don't get 8 months down the road, think that you have the old benefit, but it's gone, right? Or worse yet, didn't use a benefit that you could have used, and that's gone. So, just do your homework. And don't let your ego get in the way of, well, I'm not that old, I don't need to fill this out. Yeah, if you're 65, you're that old. Fill out the stuff, do your homework, and make sure you don't lose what you've so richly earned by working. The only other thing I'll say about the Medicare and Social Security system is that it's their menus and everything about them is a one-size-fits-all. Now, that never works, does it? So they're dealing with people from 65 to 100 years old. So it's the highest common denominator rather than the lowest, and I say that only because of the age. So they're talking to you like you're 100 or you're 90, and you either can't decipher or can't hear or can't understand. And so when you first enter that system at 65, I don't think I speak any slower, or my intake is so low that I need someone to. Here's an example. So if you said, Scott, how do you start a YouTube channel? And I would say, well, here's the technical, high side of it, which is find the button that turns on your computer and push it. That's really the angle down that comes your way. So be prepared for I don't know, I called Anthem the other day for a couple of quick questions, and I timed it because I had to, because it's moments of my life that I'll never return. It was about 6.5 minutes before you can even enter something to talk to someone. This is my balance on this, and this is this benefit, and they go through this long diatribe, and it takes 6 minutes of my life to tell me things that I don't need to know. I just really wanted to talk to customer service. So be prepared for that. The same thing with Social Security. The wait time sometimes with Social Security, you're better off doing the hey, call me back thing, because it'll be an hour and a half, which is fine because the people I did speak to there were awesome. What else about Social Security? Be prepared when you go fill out your Social Security stuff online, that the line doesn't take a P.O. box, which is odd to me because I know I'm not the only one that the mail folks don't deliver to, and you get a P.O. box. So you can't enter it on that line because it won't accept it. And then underneath it, there's a box that says if this is your residence. And it's like, well, can you make it a little simpler? Some people don't get their mail at the residence. They have a P.O. box. They should make that easy. So if you do have a P.O. box, don't do it online because it's not going to take it. And you'll get frustrated and, want to break things. So just call them. They can make that change on the phone. So if you have a P.O. box as your mailing address, when you first enter the Social Security system, call them. Or if you move, right? Like I moved, used to get it at a street address. Now I got a P.O. box. I couldn't do the change online because it wouldn't let me. So that's the only other hint I can give you. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up, man. This is my first video ever. No editing, no fancy screen changes, no graphics, no begging. I always find out, how do you feel about that? Put it down in the comments below, because this is how I feel. So the folks who beg and ask for subscriptions and likes the moment you click on the video, I object to, because I haven't seen your content yet. I don't know what you're giving me. I don't know if it's worth it. So I always just do it on merit, right? So if you like to take trips virtually into Canada, Alaska, or whatever, there's this guy, he does a destination adventure, right? I found out about him a couple years ago. And when you're looking for time to waste and you want to go see some beautiful scenery, listen to the history of the place, he does an amazing job. His editing is off the hook. He's really, really good. So when I got done the first video, I subscribed, and I like every video I see because I feel value coming back my way for it. So if this is, even slightly mildly entertaining, what the hell, go for it. But we'll see you next time on the Scott Miller Show. And I really appreciate you watching. First one.